Today I'm going to be talking about interdisciplinary collaboration at the University of Guelph's School of Engineering Design 3 course. Currently, the University of Guelph has 7 different disciplines: biological, biomedical, computer, systems and computing, environmental, mechanical, and water resources. However, the world is not divided into different academic disciplines, nor is it divided into different engineering disciplines. And the problems of the 21st century are becoming exceedingly complex and will certainly require the input and expertise of people from different disciplines. So in order to solve these big problems, we need to be able to collaborate effectively and build on each other's knowledge in order to solve some of these big issues. The Canadian Engineering Accreditation Board has defined 12 different attributes that engineering graduates must be able to demonstrate before they graduate. One of these attributes is individual and teamwork, which CEAB has defined as an ability to work effectively as a member and leader in teams, preferably in a multidisciplinary setting. Multidisciplinary is often used in the broader sense of people from different disciplines working together on a project. However, there are actually some nuances to different types of disciplinarities that we'll touch on. Marilyn Stember defined 5 different disciplinarities and investigated the differences between each. These 5 disciplinary concepts have been depicted in these 5 different circles. Within the first circle, we can see interdisciplinary. Very simple, one discipline, you're working exactly within your area of expertise. But then we move into cross-disciplinary, and this is when you can view other disciplines from your own disciplinary's perspective. However, you're not working with people from those other disciplines. Then we move to multidisciplinary. Now those little circles have moved closer together and they are working together. However, there's no actual crossover between the different circles, which depicts each individual staying within their own disciplinary realm and contributing their own disciplinary knowledge. Then we move into interdisciplinary. Here the circles start to cross over. And what this represents is people building on each other's knowledge and collaborating in order to solve complex problems. Simply dividing and conquering and contributing your expertise is very different from discussion-based approaches to problem solving and being able to learn from one another in order to come up with better solutions. Transdisciplinary would be our final step. And this is when there's so much crossover between the different disciplines that it almost appears to be a discipline all on its own. So an example of this may be biochemistry, for instance. Biology and chemistry used to be very different disciplines, and now they've come and it's its own discipline entirely. Interdisciplinary collaboration allows for a more holistic approach to problem solving as compared to multidisciplinary or cross-disciplinary approaches. As you can see in this figure, each person has been given a certain part of the elephant or the problem to look at and to investigate. However, when each person only investigates a small component of the big picture or of the large problem, they may not really understand what's going on. And even when they convey this information to one another, as is evident in this picture, nobody really knows or understands what the big picture is. This relates closely to the idea from Aristotle that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And I think this really attests to what interdisciplinary collaboration can accomplish. Now we'll talk about some strategies and how you can actually exercise interdisciplinary collaboration. First, we need to start with forming our group and defining key roles within the group. Naturally, each person coming into the group will have their academic discipline and area of expertise that they can bring to the table. However, you also have expertise outside of your academic discipline. We've all come from different places with different backgrounds and different sets of knowledge, and these different experiences can help us solve these big problems. And then, who says that your learning is done? Why can't you become an expert in a new field or develop new expertise to contribute to developing the solution? Another important thing about your team is that everybody has a common interest in the problem. This will help with motivation and thus collaboration. If someone is less invested in the problem, they are less likely to collaborate and provide their input and help with building knowledge. Open-mindedness is obviously very important in a collaborative team. Everybody's coming from different disciplines and as such will likely have different opinions and ideas and different views on what's most important. Being open-minded to the perspectives of different disciplines is incredibly important. Similarly, having respect for one another and for individual expertise is incredibly important for a team to function properly. And then time management. You need to be able to work effectively as a team and manage your time well so that time isn't wasted on circular conversations. And finally, identify a leader. Having someone that can help to facilitate interdisciplinary collaboration is incredibly important and will really help to build knowledge and ask questions that will help to stimulate discussion. Next, once you have your team, you can set some ground rules. First off, you'll need to establish what the expectations are for the project, setting out clear objectives of what needs to be accomplished, as well as how they'll be accomplished. For example, how different tasks will be allocated to one another is incredibly important so that people know what they're getting themselves into. If one person thinks that this is going to require very little time and someone else puts a lot of time into this, that discrepancy can result in conflict. Also, establishing when and how often you'll meet and how you'll communicate will be very important to ensure a cohesive group environment. And then discuss how you'll address disagreements and problems within your group before you've started the project. This will be very beneficial if a problem does arise and you have an approach that is fair and everybody has agreed upon to go back to. Then finally, write a team agreement. Actually writing it down can be really helpful because you can refer back to it should any of these issues arise. This is an example of an agreement and actually requires the signatures of each team member so that everybody is demonstrating a commitment to the ground rules established. Next, team meetings. Team meetings are very important and you need to make use of the time together because this is where the real discussion and analysis and synthesis of ideas starts to happen. Again, having a leader is really important for effective team meetings. It doesn't always need to be the same person, but having someone that's facilitating the discussion, ensuring everybody has airtime, and making sure that all of the different topics are covered will help to make sure that the meeting is effective and efficient. Allow everybody to give progress updates. This may seem obvious, but having some time for everybody to go around and discuss what's been done will generate discussion and questions. Making sure that everyone has dedicated airtime is also very important so that people can voice their opinions as well as provide their technical expertise. Team meetings are a really good time to do effective brainstorming. This is where you can really start to synthesize your ideas and learn from one another. When you're brainstorming, come up with as many ideas as possible. This idea generation will really hone in on your creativity. And then you can work and build off of each other's ideas, perhaps generating an idea that you guys wouldn't have come to on your own. Next, ask questions. If you don't understand something that someone from a different discipline is discussing or mentioning, it's important that you gain that understanding because it could influence your own expertise in your own discipline and you may form an opinion on it. Ensure you ask each other questions. This will help to build ideas and ensure everybody is on the same page. Next, you should educate one another. Use this opportunity to really learn from your peers. You're all coming from different disciplines, different backgrounds, different sets of knowledge and perspectives. Really try and think of the different perspectives that are at play here and the big picture and what you can learn and gain and bring forward into your next project. If certain technical topics are difficult to understand or you fear that the terminology you're using is being lost by your peers or the people in your group, consider using metaphors and analogies that are common amongst the people in the room. This can help convey a concept in order for other people to understand how it pertains to their own discipline, without getting too technical and requiring too much of a lesson within the meeting. This can waste time, and analogies and metaphors are quick ways to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. And then finally, make a plan. Make a plan within your meeting so that everybody knows what needs to get done before your next meeting. These team meetings are essential, and maximizing their potential is really important to ensure you develop a good solution. Although interdisciplinary collaboration is a very effective means of solving complex problems, there is a time and a place for dividing and conquering, or more of the multidisciplinary approach. Background research is an example of where divide and conquer is very suitable. It may be more beneficial for each person to research a different area and then come back together in your team meetings to discuss what was found. But you can see that if you were just to divide and conquer, this wouldn't be as effective collaboration. Next, you can break down large tasks into smaller subtasks so that each person can work on these subtasks alone. Each subtask needs to be clearly defined, and equal effort needs to be distributed amongst the team for fair work and contribution. Divide and conquer is also helpful for getting things done quickly. You can split up the work and just get it done. But are you really going to end up with the best result? If it is time for a crunch, perhaps divide and conquer is the way to go. But I caution you against doing it too frequently. It can also be very helpful when there are scheduling conflicts. For example, if one person can't come to a meeting for whatever reason. However, you don't want to be relying on divide and conquer all the time, because then you will lose the synthesis approach of generating ideas and an understanding of the problem as a whole, which is so integral to solving problems. So now we have a little group activity that I would like you to do with your group. The context: your team has been in a plane crash in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. There's a small uninhabited island on the horizon, but by the time you paddle over there, your plane will have sunk, so you can only make one trip. Your little lifeboat, well, it fits everybody on your team as well as 10 items. Have each individual write down their list of 10 things that they would bring to this uninhabited island, and then rank them from 1 to 10. Then come together as a group and decide on 10 items that you would bring. Take this opportunity to practice vocalizing your opinions and giving everybody airtime and being respectful of one another. Was the list of the 10 items that you guys picked, was that better than the list of 10 you generated yourself? Were there any ideas you guys generated while you were discussing and making a consensus on the 10 items? These kinds of things happen when you truly work together and collaborate in an interdisciplinary fashion. To sum it up, interdisciplinary collaboration is an effective means to work in a team. Not only do you have people from different disciplines providing their own expertise on complex problems, but you also have the opportunity to learn from one another, extend your knowledge, build your skill set, and allow you to come up with even better, more cohesive, and more holistic solutions. Thank you.